Okay, hello. Here I'm in an outdoor kitchen and I want to explain because people ask me what is a grey water cleansing subject, and I said actually it's easy to install, and this is just to show you the principle how to install. It's not ready, it's just the principle of how to build a grey water cleansing subject. And the grey water actually means always wastewater from the kitchen, from the bathroom, from the laundry machine. This is grey water, and this is used international as a term. And then you use also a second term, which is black water. And black water all the time means it's water from the toilet. So we are talking about grey water. This is here the outdoor kitchen, and cleaning the dishes here with the soap and just some stuff inside. So first you need a filter. So you take a smaller bucket with some holes and you put some branches or pine needles, something which is able to filter the pieces, and maybe some oil. And then the next step is coming. The filtered water is going through the holes to the next step, which is a bucket also with holes here on the bottom and filled with stones. So maybe somebody can hold here and then I can pour some stones. You can see. So you collect stones with the smaller they are, the more you can put, and the more rough and the more holes the stones have, the better it is. Yeah. Okay, like this. Okay. So, thank you very much. And then the next step is, so you fill like half with the stones, and the next step is you put strong rooting plants. So like we have here papyrus, and you can use each strong rooting water plant. And it's really easy like this. You just take it and you put it, And these strong rooting plants, they do not need soil, so don't put any soil, don't put clay, you can, if you want, you can put maybe sand, but also sand, it will clog the hole. So normally only stones and strong rooting plants. And the water is then going through the filter, through the stones, through the roots, and then to the next step. I will show. Here you put again stones, and again strong rooting water plants. So now I just try to show the principle, Normally you keep on doing this like maybe 4 or 5 times, as long as you have the feeling, now the water is coming clean. And normally the water needs maybe 1 day or something like that. Depends on how high the level, the difference is. Just make sure that the water is flowing. This is important. Then the water will go through the stones, through the plants. The plants are taking the nutrition out of the grey water, and going to the next step, same. In the next step already maybe little clean, and then it's going through the stones and the holes, and the roots will take the nutrition. And if you keep on doing this like 4 or 5 times, after some time the water will be clean, almost clean, and you can use for watering plants, for example, not for drinking. So I will show here. This is like the grey water, kitchen grey water. And I pour here now to the filter. So the scrap is here, and there is the water coming from the first bucket into the second bucket. And then you can have a third and a fourth and keep on doing as long as you wish. The water is clean.
So yeah, I was wondering if it's the more levels of filtering, the more clean the water you get eventually. Like
yes.
Now you have shown this is like the minimum to have two, and then the third would, we don't show it here, but it would be another one, no?
Yeah, so actually it's like minimum because you could see that the water needs many steps to become clean. It's like how you can manage and what you want to have. If you really want to have all the soap almost out, you have to do additional one, yeah. And this is really, look, these plants are really big and already have a lot of roots, though they immediately will start to work. And if you start with maybe small, because you have only two of this, you have to maybe do more and longer. So the most grey water cleansing subjects are more long, yeah. You have a long, you can also, some people use maybe 1, 2, 3 bathing tube, old bathing tube. They start in a higher level, first bathing tube with stones and strong rooting plants, then lower level second bathing tube with stones and maybe also little different plants. It looks really actually beautiful. So, and then maybe next you can use, this is like samuro, like for working, a big plastic bucket. You can use old bathing tube. Just be creative in using buckets or something which is just keeping the water, and possible with the bathing tube it has a hole, no? So the water is flowing to the next one. So this actually normally all the time you have maybe long, like 4 or 5 meters, so it takes really some time to go through many stone, many maybe also different strong rooting water plants, or you have maybe 4 or 5 steps. So here I just wanted to explain the principle. You can just keep on doing this. Yeah.
And the stones have to be porous. Like with
yes, yes, the stones have to be porous, but for example in Germany you will not easily find. So in Europe very often people use very small stones, because then you have a lot, yeah. So like maybe the size, like a thumb or even smaller, so not tiny, because then it will clog the holes, but smaller stones. So if you have a lot small stones, it's the same, it's a big surface. The important thing is to have a big surface. These stones are super perfect here because they're porous, they have a lot, billions of holes, so the water can go through this and the bacteria can sit and work.
Okay. And do the stones need to be cleaned or replaced every certain time?
This is a very good question. So this is why we have the filter. For sure you have to look, depends how often you use the kitchen or how much grey water will come, to look after the filter. Yeah, so regularly, maybe once a week, you check, is it still working or not? And in case it's not really filtering anymore, you put new branches or new pine needles inside. And for the stones, you check sometimes if the holes are clogged. Sometimes they are clogged with the roots of the plants, and you will see that if you use a grey water cleansing suction, that the plants will grow really fast. So in a certain time you have to cut and to take out half of the plants, and you give to your compost or you give to the next people they want to install something like this. This is the beauty also in this style. You do not need money to install that. You immediately can start if you find some bucket, some old bathing tube, something which can keep the water, maybe some plastic, I don't know, and you have stones most of the time. And the plants, you can ask people, they have a pond or they have already grey water cleansing subject, because normally people they have a pond or something like a grey water subject. They have to take out the plants regularly because they're growing very fast.
Okay.
Yes.
The soap is not harming them if it's not organic or...
So this is, these plants are really strong. So I never saw that the plants have been dying because of the soap. So they can manage very well. Nevertheless, of course, you should not use too much soap. No, it's not an endless thing. So you should use natural soap. You put to wash your dishes, to wash your laundry. That's even better for the plants. But up to now, I never saw plants which have been dying because of the soap.
Is there a possibility of smell sometimes if people do it wrongly? Or
Yeah.
Sometimes it can happen?
So it can happen in case the roots are too much and the water cannot really flow. So make sure all the time that the water can flow. Because if the water sits, immediately it will start to smell. So it's the idea that the water is flowing. This is why I said don't put any soil, don't put clay, don't put sand at least. Because the important thing is you have many steps and the water can flow through the roots, flow through the stones, and then there is no smell. If the water starts to sit because too many roots maybe, or the holes are clogged because maybe the filter is not working anymore, it will start to smell. Yes.
And the filter is accumulating all the remnants from the food, right?
Yeah, so the filter, the idea is that like scrap, and also if you use maybe more fine branches or pine needles, also the oil, the fat is also important, because if you put directly the grey water with fat, with oil into this, it will clog. The roots cannot manage with too much oil, and the stones will be slippy, and this is the idea of the filter, so this is very important. And also very important what you ask to look, to search by the time if it's still working. Yeah.
That should be more often replaced than, I mean...
This is the thing you should replace, yeah, because normally this really staying for a month, many, and normally yes, yeah. But this is maybe once a week to check. Depends how much grey water you have. Yes, and how dirty it is, how much fat it is. So in YouTube there was a video about a cafe, and in a cafe they used a lot fat. So minimum once, I think twice a week, they check and look and replace and make fresh the filter.
But the cafe is good for the soil. The cafe is organic, no? You see the cafe.
Yeah, but they used a lot different cake, and it was not only coffee. Yes, yeah, also milk, I think. As really, they had a bigger filter, no? It was really, the filter was already like this and 1 meter, I think. And yeah, it was really needed. So it's a cafe because maybe 20-30 people there every day. This is different.
This is professional.
Yeah, but also working. So the principle is all the time the same. So if you have more people, you just make it bigger.
That's it.
Yeah.
And pine needles, fresh or dry, it doesn't make a difference?
So here all the time the pine needles are dry because they fall from the tree, and this is just more important to understand the principle. The principle is that you have a material which you can reach, which is available for you, which is like fluffy, that the water can go through, and that the big stuff just sit on the top. So it doesn't matter if you do not have organic thing, maybe you can try with super small stones. something. It's just to understand the principle. Yeah. Yes.
Good.
Thank you, thank you.
Yes.